everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I am going to do the walkthrough for my me album. I did a video on Monday where I was working on one of the last spreads in here, and now I have finished it up. I have done me albums since 2017, I believe, and I just love documenting myself, and I just make a ton of pages about myself. I have so many albums about myself, which is really cool. This year I'm doing a smaller half binder size and kind of scaling back on the documenting just because I was getting too many albums, I felt like. Plus, I want to have a little bit more focus on our family stories and my kids' stories. Okay, so let's get started. This is January 2022, and I decided to open up with a page that's kind of like a mind map, and I used an acrylic piece and a bunch of ScrappinHappy Studio Flairs. So love how this page came together. Next up is a January everyday page, and I used kind of bits and pieces of my Ali Edwards Stories by the Month stash. I had a card that I cut up and I just put in different stamps, and it really captures my everyday. Traci Reed project where I kind of documented the first week with a collage and one little insert, and I also documented how I want to approach the year creatively. So really love how this is all blue and this is all rainbow. So that was a fun project. I'm not always a fan of winter, so I decided to document winter and how I was feeling about winter and how it allows me to slow down and kind of reevaluate, take a deep breath, and I created a design that goes this way. And of course the kit is Ali Edwards Breathe. Finished up January with a Everyday Explorers project where I just took this stamp set that had all these little like notepads and used those as prompts for my journaling to wrap up the month. This was a fun project where I did a combination of digital stamping and physical stamping. I digitally stamped February all over the page, printed it out, and then added in some stamping with the XO details and some hearts. Then paired it with a cut up journaling card and some chipboard. The hearts and this stripe paper are also digitally printed. Then I wanted to talk about February and what I'm looking forward to in February using a Traci Reed kit. The kit's still available. I will go ahead and link it. I really love this kit. It has a great color scheme. I then have a lot of pages in February about my husband and I, and it is our anniversary. It's the month of love, so it totally makes sense. I created this page to document our first hike in February using Everyday Explorers and made a vellum insert with a new stamp set that had a bunch of different outdoor type sentiments on it. You turn it, and I made a 4x6 card with a bunch of clustering and stamping, and it pairs really well with this page where I did a 6x8 scrapbook page. Next up is a little story right here with a large 6x8 photo and then two 3x4 cards. Using the Traci Reed kit, I think it's called My Favorite Person or something like that. But I really wanted to talk about how I love taking shadow pictures with my kids. I've done it for years and I will probably never stop loving them. So I just documented that little sweet story. These are kind of the little stories of February that I wanted to have to fill in this spot because I had this page and then I had the next page all done. So I wanted to make sure that I filled this in. So I just made some cards with Everyday Explorers stamps and then added in some photos. The next page is another hike with my husband, but this time we went on our anniversary, our wedding anniversary, so I wanted to document that. I used an app called PicFrame to make this collage and just printed it out. The kit was Ali Edwards Awesome, which worked really well for our colors. I also documented our lunch out and used this paper, The Story of Something Awesome, and found a 14 in my stash to use, which was really good. Love how this page came together with all the blues and how it's love themed, but it's blue and green and teal. So just love it. This is another Everyday Explorers, but also Traci Reed, because I used this same kit that I used back here. I did a collage of some photos over the years, kind of talked about our love story, and made a paper behind here using Everyday Explorer stamps. This one was a really fun one because I tried out some markers, just outlining the border, and also some scrapbook.com journaling cards. Just made a grid page for my everyday, and use the icon stamp set from Everyday Explorers to fill in the journaling. I had been taking a lot of photos of my book and where I was reading, so I decided to document that when In a Creative Bubble came out with the book die cuts, which was really, really exciting because I love her products and she hadn't had these in digital form. So I made a little spread to document always reading. Ending the month with the same type of layout as January, but this time I put the notepad pieces around a photo that I really loved. I added in some X's in different colors and also Colorcast Design pieces. This is my intro page for March, and again, just talking about what I'm looking forward to in the month and pairing it with a card that I had previously made and just adding in digital pieces right there, some more stamping, and then chipboard pieces. I really love how this uses up my stash and also just really celebrates spring with the bright spring colors. Next up is this everyday kind of page where I did another like mind map kind of thing where I just drew lines to talk about what was going on in March. Love how this one came together. It was so fun and so colorful, and I felt like a really unique way to use the currently stamp set from Everyday Explorers. So I have Currently Proud of This, Currently Exploring, Currently Playing, Slice of My Everyday Life. So a lot of fun to make this one. Next up is this page using Care. I wanted to document how my fitness journey was going, and so I decided to use the black and white kit and also the Care digital kit, and I think it came out really, really awesome. This is just another stash page. I really wanted to do something to document all of our hikes on one page for March, since I plan on at some point doing a digital book, so I don't need a lot of extensive pages about our hikes. So what I did is I just grabbed some really old stamps from Crafty Jen Scow and I just went to town stamping. Also grabbed some Colorcast Designs pieces. I might be missing a few because it looks like a few may have fell off, but I just had a lot of fun using up my stash and the acrylic pieces that I had just received. Finishing up this spread with another in review page where I took some photos and stamping and then the notepads. So really sticking to the same type of thing, but just switching up the design and of course the colors. Here's my opening page for April. I absolutely loved this card in the Stories by the Month kit, so I went off of that kit and I used one of the newer stamp sets from Ali Edwards. I think it's part of the Facts and Feelings mini kit. It's this stamp set right here. I don't know if it's sold separately anymore, but if it is, I will link it. But I just find it such a versatile stamp set for so many different reasons. So that's the stamp set I used. And then I used the bloom kit for the die cuts, and the word strips. Playing with my stamps and my different pieces that I hadn't used in a while. This was a really fun project to do for Everyday Explorers. There was a spring stamp set that had come out, and also a 6x8 stamp set that had these big titles on it. So I had taken some photos of a spring puddle and like myself in the rain. So I decided to create an entire background documenting the rainstorm and using some ScrappinHappy Studio Flairs, along with some raindrops and enamel dots. So love how this one documented spring. It was definitely a different way to document the weather. This one is the one you guys just recently saw me put together using another journaling card that I had made, and you flip up and see all the journaling. Super colorful, perfect for April, and using up the stash. That's kind of what I've been into lately, is just finding ways to use up my stash and finding places to use up, you know, what I have. This is a project that I'm not sure that I ever shared, but it uses the Seek story kit, and I believe I scrap lifted somebody, I think. I'm not sure, but I did these fun little circles here and added a white stroke around it, and then did this on transparency paper, and die cut Seeking and Finding, and also die cut Fun. So love how this one came together. Love this photo of the poppies on a hike. And speaking of stash, this was a project that I did using a TV stamp set from Everyday Explorers, and I really just played with my stash, some really old Citrus Twist stuff, because I wanted to document Bridgerton. I mean, who doesn't want a scrapbook about that show? So I wanted to document that. I had a spot in April. I had this stamp set, so I just had fun playing and making more time for playing, which I really love. And what happened is I wound up with this page here, and then I had something here, and I wanted to finish the album. So what I decided to do is look at my April photos, and I had one of my plants. So I decided to pair that with another journaling card I made and make 2 clusters right here. And I love how it came together. It's a very simple page, but it documents my plants. Now for the last page, I did something totally different because I've been doing these pages. But I had these hilarious photos of my husband and I watching TV, so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do this to end the album. And then you flip it up and it's almost an entirely like different spread. So it uses the XO kit and a few other stamp sets. So it just documents how we love to stay up watching TV, pretending that we're still in college and we can handle staying up late, but we love watching TV together, and it's our favorite way to kind of end the day. So that is volume 1 of my Me album, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Have a wonderful day. Bye.